Hiya. Now, as many of you may know, especially the people who live over here, at the moment in the UK we're going through a spell of pretty dire weather. I think it's all over Europe actually. I mean, bad for the UK. A lot of countries get this kind of weather all the time and deal with it, but we don't deal too well. But we're actually snowed in. I can't get the car out. And if I could, I couldn't get it up to where we go for a walk in the countryside. That road is actually impassable. I took Molly for a walk this morning. I did speak to somebody who was actually walking their dog back from that area, and you can't get up there. It's too far for Molly to walk, and Molly's little legs, we've been out twice today, it's almost up to her tummy, the snow. It's all come down in about 12 hours, and I think we're going to get some more. Now, I got a comment yesterday, or it may have even been today, of somebody saying, we're predominantly older people who watch your videos, although I know there are quite a few younger people as well. And they said, we always see each other as we are now, and he's curious to know what people look like in the past, because we've got a lot of past. I've got 70 years of past. He said, have you got any photographs of when you were younger? So I thought, well, it'll give me a bit of something to do while the weather's bad. And it looks like I may not be able to get a video up for a couple of days. So I thought, yeah, go on, we'll do this. So I hunted through all the photographs and files, and I've got some. Now, there aren't a lot of when I was younger, or for about 30 years, actually. So there are some, then there's a gap, then there are some more, and I've thrown a couple of Molly in, and it's just me as a young man growing into an older man, and oh good, it's just a bit of something. Watch it if you want. If you do watch it, I hope you enjoy it. Now, the first picture here is me. I was probably about 21 at the time, out in a nightclub somewhere in the town. The girl on the right of the picture is my future wife, the mother of my kids, and the best mother any kids could ever have. The beautiful girl in the middle, I was actually engaged to at the time. It didn't work out, and then very sadly she passed away of cancer when she was in probably her late 40s. And the girl on the left is Liz, who actually moved away shortly after this and went to live in Italy, and had a great life in Italy, Sicily, Naples, I don't know, somewhere around there. And she's had a wonderful life, and well done, Liz. She was very beautiful too. They all were. Now, this one is me and Lucy. So this would have been a few years after that photograph. Lucy is now almost 40. She's in her late 30s, and she was probably about 3 years. So this is taken 30 odd years ago. So I would have been, early, mid-30s, something like that. And it was taken on a beach. I remember that. It was taken on a beach in North Wales. And I love this photograph. I just love the look on Lucy's face. And she did turn out mischievous. She's actually been texting me all day because she's stuck in Paris. Her and her mate have gone to Paris for the weekend, and they're stuck on the way back. I think they've just about managed to board the plane now, because all Manchester Airport's cancelled, but I think it's reopened now. And this is another one of me and the kids. This is me and Lucy and David when they were very young. Like I said, Lucy's now almost 40. David's in his late 30s. And this was on the Santa flight from Manchester Airport, and the plane had like antlers on the front of it, and they'd take you up and tell you that they were going over the North Pole and everything like that, and they had people dressed up as Santa. It was fabulous. They did it every day. I don't know whether they still do it. If they don't, they should do, because it was fantastic. Now, this was taken about the same time, and this was at a farm in Dent, in the north of the country, and that Stuart there, his cousin owned a farm, and he used to let us use well, they had 2 farms. Used to use one of them as like just for weekends. And Stuart was a absolutely beautiful bloke, and he was the first of my friends to go. He died in 2008. It was such a shame because he was a fabulous chap. And then it jumps really over to when I lived on the boat. There's no photographs. I must have taken no photograph for years. I think about this time is when I was putting videos up of my walk in the Lake District and my wild camping. So there are a couple of videos up, and this was just me on the boat about 2008, 2009. And again, just another one showing that I always have been a bit of an old hippie. This is one taken, I would say this was about 2010. And I was actually, this was at the top of Helvellyn, and I'd gone into the Lake District and I was camping, and I went up Helvellyn and I set off about 3 o'clock in the morning to get up there. And this was probably about 6 or 7 o'clock, and I'd got to the summit, and it was wet and it was rainy, but it was fabulous. I used to spend all my time in the Lake District. It was wonderful. And this is a random one I've thrown in because this is our David. This is my son. He's an incredible musician, an incredibly respected musician locally, and he's predominantly a bassist. And still plays in bands, and he's been playing. He's late 30s now. This was taken when he was in his early 30s. Yeah, and he's still playing his music, having a great time. I just thought I'd throw one in of the narrowboat, or a couple in of the narrowboat. This is when I lived on my narrowboat on the canal, on the Leeds and Liverpool Canal in Lancashire. It was beautiful. This was a sunny day. You could see the sun streaming through. Lovely environment to live in. And this was it at Christmas. Then I put my little Christmas tree up and my Christmas lights, and it was lovely. Just another to show what an old hippie I am. Just another. I just had to find some random ones here. This is one of my favourites. This is my last climb with crampons in the middle of winter and ice axe. And this was actually going up Helvellyn as well. This was usually you go up Helvellyn by what's called Striding Edge, and then you come down Swirl Edge. But we actually went up Swirl Edge for some reason. I don't know why we'd chosen to do it that way, but it was steep and it was precipitous, and you can't see behind because it was just a wipeout. But it was a great day, and that's like one of my last pictures of my winter climbs. I'm quite fond of that one. And this is one taken, I think this was probably before I had cancer. It probably was. Yes, it was. It was taken quite a few years before I had cancer, because that's a Rav drum. That's a Rav Vast drum. So this was before I got my handpan, and I used to play. I was busking here. I was going out busking, and I used to take the Rav drum and the Gouda drum. The Gouda drum was beautiful. It was metal, but it sounded like it was made of wood. And the Rav drum, I do think I may get another one, because the sound of the Rav drum. I've got one. There's a video on my channel called Evening Light, I think it's called, near the beginning. And that is played on the Rav drum. Now, the caption underneath this was, "So I guess you're not a golfer then." And if anybody knows where that quote comes from, they will know what I'm drinking here. Answers in the comments. Now we just come through a few, towards the end, a few of Molly. This was Molly when she was about 6 years old, sitting in some buttercup. She used to have longer hair, and I used to have longer hair and a face. And then one day I just decided to cut it short, and she's happier with it cut short. She was incredibly cute with it long, but you have to think about how she felt, and yeah, she's much happier with it short, but she was incredibly cute when she had fur a bit longer. And this is us again with the fur longer on the Marina, because she's a rescue dog, and this was after I'd got her, shortly after I got her. I mean, a rescue dog, who could give up Molly? Anyway, there she is. And this is one of us, just one of us of working on the canal, because on the marina, because she used to come to work with me every single day. She never missed a day and came to work with me. So she's had a fantastic life. And this is one I just had to take. I took it just randomly, and then when I looked at it, her eyes are crossed for some reason. I just thought it's just perfect picture with Molly and her eyes crossed. And I think this is my favourite one of us, me and Molly, when she's like snuggled up to her dad, and I just love the look on her face. It's beautiful. Makes me really happy looking at this one, because she's a little old lady now. She was a lot younger. This was probably about 6 years ago, because she's a lot younger now. She's a little old lady. And those were just a few pictures of me going from when I was a youngster, young kid, young man, up to being an old man like I am now. So I hope you enjoyed it. Just something to do. And we'll see you shortly when we put another video up. So peace and love.